Alright guys, CWL here, back again today. Hope you all had a fantastic weekend so far, and the Pro League is over. 12 weeks of action have now concluded. Yesterday was the final day. A lot of matches relatively meaningless, but we'll probably talk more about that in the coming days, because there were some interesting storylines to come out of this past week. And yes, Reciprocity have qualified for playoffs. We will be going through what the bracket looks like for CWL Miami, starting on July the 19th, through to the 21st. Now, a couple of you guys were asking questions, definitely reasonably so, when exactly the play-in for the playoffs, because we know there's going to be a 10-team playoffs this year. Every team that didn't qualify in the top 8 will still be going along for their chance to qualify. They just have to win 2 series before they lose any series at all, and they will qualify. And that will happen on Friday the 19th, before the main event kicks off. So pretty much it's happening on the same weekend in Miami. A lot of teams will turn up and play one single match and then be eliminated. 4 teams in fact will do that. And their only chance will then be going into CWL Champs. So like if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you are new as always, I would greatly appreciate it. And let's hop right into the action here. So I'm going to be going through yesterday's matches, a couple of other storylines that came out of it, and then we'll have a look at the bracket and maybe do some predictions now, even though maybe I'll save that for a separate video, because I'm not sure how much content there's really going to be over the next couple of weeks. And of course I'm starting full-time work on Monday, so we'll have to see how the time schedule works. Hopefully I can figure something out for you guys. Anyway, Elevate Reciprocity was the first match. If this one was won by Reciprocity, pretty much all the rest of the matches were meaningless because people were locked in their places, but still interesting to have a look at how the other teams matched up against each other, and really to have a look at who's putting in the shift and who necessarily, not necessarily is, and maybe we'll get to that in tomorrow's video. So yeah, Elevate Reciprocity. First map, Reciprocity always like to make things hard for themselves. Now, Elevate seem to be a somewhat decent team. They've at least put up a fight against some other squads, but and they're going to be competitive to some degree with some teams, but to be honest, Reciprocity should have walked away with this one. They needed it a lot more, and also Elevate losing meant that if they'd have won, then they'd have been in a position, I'm pretty sure if they'd have won, they'd have played Luminosity in the very first round of the play-in bracket, and the fact that they lost meant that they wouldn't have to do that, which effectively is an advantage for them. So Reciprocity had a great reason to win, and as someone pointed out in the comment section of yesterday's video, an excellent subscriber, I forget exactly your name, my apologies, but yeah, they basically said that yeah, Reciprocity has a lot of reason to win, Elevate has basically no reason to win. In fact, they pretty much want to lose, because then they don't have to play LG, even though if you win, you still get $500 in the bank per player each, so still a decent amount of reason to win, but at the same time, it makes sense the way this series went. Rec won map number 1. And all great performances out of the guys on Reciprocity. I mean, Dylan is something else to watch. Denz has been really good in the AR role as well. I've been very impressed with. Alex had a slow start to map 1, but they bring it back and take the map 1 on frequency. Then they lose the game to Search and Destroy. 6-5 fashion. Arguably, they could have won it. They had a couple of advantages that they threw away in the end. And yeah, Elevate put up a decent showing in the Search and Destroy. There's no doubting that. But then the next couple of maps were pretty damn comfortable. And after the control went in favor of Reciprocity, if Reciprocity are winning controls, then the series is very likely going to lean to their favor, because they're not the best control team. But when you put them on Hassie and the hardpoint, and Dylan is running around absolutely destroying people with a Sorg on a Hassie, that's when you know it's all over. And yeah, Dylan has got to be one of the most enjoyable players to watch right now. I saw a thread on Reddit yesterday saying, like, who's the most fun player to watch in the game? And my money might be on T Dylan, because whenever you watch this guy play, you know it's going to be an absolute bloodbath. Of course, honourable mentions to guys like Dashy, Priestahh, but for me, Dylan's got to be right up there, one of the best players in the game right now. Comfortably one of the best Sorgs, let's put it that way. So, moving onwards to the second series of the day, we had Midnight Envy. At this point, Reciprocity had already qualified. Midnight knew they weren't going to be able to qualify, but then the places were already locked in pretty much. So yeah, Frosty just crushed him, man. I'm amazed that Enigma 6 decided to get rid of him, if they did indeed decide to get rid of him, as it is rumoured, rather than he decided to leave, because for my money, Frosty was always going to get better the entire year. Like, as the year went on, as he got more practice playing the game and transitioning from Halo, Frosty was always going to get better and better. And he just demolished Envy this series, especially in this map number 1, to be honest. And, well, it was just completely dominant. 250 to 67, of course, Envy this series didn't mean much to them, but at the same time, the fact that they just come off a 3-0 victory against OpTic Gaming, you felt like, at least in my opinion, they would put up a fight here and maybe bring it to a game 5 or something along those lines. Didn't happen. They got completely crushed. The pacing of this team was really put on display. Because when you've got guys like Royalty, Zaptius on the Midnight squad, there's a lot of pace flying at you, and Royalty has a great series, and when that happens, you know that it's going to be chalked for your bank account. I don't know why I said that. Alright, 250 to 67, map number 1, comfortable. Somehow, apparently, Envy are now the best S&D team in the game, but all they can win is searches, so they've just completely flip-flopped it. They win the search 6-4, kind of impressive considering Midnight are a very good search team from, well, at least traditionally. I think that their aggression catches a lot of teams off guard. Quite impressed that Envy managed to win this. Of course, they do have a lot of like renowned good S&D players on their team, so it's difficult to say that they would be bad at search, but then again, their old roster with Pharaoh was bad, and that should have been even better than this one in theory in terms of having all the search and destroy stars. So interesting. Then Midnight just run away with the control, and then they take map number 4 as well on Hacienda. Envy put up a decent fight, but yeah, Midnight are a solid squad, there's no doubting that. They are on the same side of the bracket in the play-in though as Luminosity Gaming, so they're going to have a difficult time of things. We'll go on to that in just a second here. The third series of the day, Gen.G Heretics. This one pretty much had its stamp signed and delivered all over it. Like, this was going to be over from the game 1, I thought, because Gen.G are just so good right now. Dylan Envoy is one of the best players in the game. There's no doubting it. He's been playing unbelievably well. Envoy on the Maddox is just a masterclass to behold. He has been absolutely crushing it. Definitely probably deserves more credit than he's getting at the current time, and he had one of the most ridiculous Pro League weeks we've had here on Gen.G. Spacely remains undefeated in Search and Destroy quite remarkably. The entire Pro League, he started off 9-0, then came back, I think, won another however many searches they won this week, but they won all of them. So incredible. Apparently Spacely is just the factor in Search and Destroy. Fair play. And they beat Heretics pretty damn comfortably here in the end. And Gen.G still looking like a scary team. Of course, they did go minus Nagafen plus Spacely. I was questioning whether that would be the move to tip them over the 100T boundary. I'm still not sure it is, but I think that Spacely is definitely getting a lot of action out of the rest of his team right now. And it'll be interesting to see come Miami how they can do. Last series of the day, United OpTic Gaming pretty much meant nothing but for practice and a little bit of pocket change. OpTic do take map number 1 kind of comfortably, but the rest of the series, or not kind of comfortably, I was about to say that was close, but the rest of the series was kind of comfortable for United. The Search and Destroy wasn't close, the control was pretty comfortable, and then the final map, it was back and forth for a time, but yeah, United ran away with it and won the game in the end. Some definitely key mistakes coming out of OpTic Gaming, and but yeah, at the end of the day, the series didn't matter too much, but I do want to go into the state of OpTic Gaming and the kind of performances they've been having this week in more detail in tomorrow's video. So let's move on to the bracket here. So this is the overall bracket. These are the main teams. This is not the play-in bracket. We'll go into that in just a second here. So winners bracket, Heretics will play a play-in team, Reciprocity will play a play-in team, and then the winner of this will play OpTic Gaming. That's the advantage of having the number 1 seed, because you get to play one of the play-in teams or one of the 4th seeded teams. And Heretics are United, so you get something of an advantage. And also, if you were to lose this match that you play here, you will go down to winners round 2. Whereas if you lose between 100 Thieves and FaZe, you will go down to winners round or losers round 1. So quite a significant advantage actually being the first seed. And then look at this matchup: 100 Thieves versus FaZe Clan. Gonna be an interesting one. These guys have both been going toe to toe. They've been playing very well lately. I'm pretty sure last time 100 Thieves played FaZe in the league, they pretty much mopped them. So we'll have to see if FaZe can bounce back from that one. But yeah, 100 Thieves is obviously going to be a scary team, and the winner of that will play the winner of OpTic Gaming and whoever comes in here. This may be Luminosity. I'm not exactly sure how the bracket flip works in terms of where LG would end up if they do go through, whether up here or down here. But if it is here, then OpTic, LG, 100T, FaZe would be a very scary quarter-final, effectively. Now, United will play the winner of this match, then Gen.G Splice is the lower tier game. So these are the only 2 confirmed matchups matchups so far, but definitely some spicy ones. Be interesting to see how it goes when we go towards the grand finals. And this is the play-in bracket. So Envy have locked in UYU, which is obviously a great matchup for them. They couldn't have asked for anything much more than that. Evil Geniuses will play Enigma 6. Midnight will play Elevate. Units will play LG. So let's do some quick predictions here. I'm going to say Envy will beat UYU. They should do on paper at least, but it could be close. Yeah, honestly, it's interesting. UYU looked very, very bad when they played in their week, but they do have some decent talent on their team. And Envy looked pretty poor as well, apart from their victory against OpTic Gaming. So this honestly could go kind of either way. EG Enigma 6 is interesting. I might just about favour Evil Geniuses. Midnight Elevate, Midnight should take it. Units LG, LG should take it. And in that case, UYU, E6, Elevate and Units would just leave the tournament only playing one single series. They might not even get the opportunity to win a map, you never know. And then these teams will go on because this is a single elimination play-in. And then we might have LG Midnight, the winner of that qualifies. And then say Envy Evil Geniuses, the winner of that qualifies. So let's say LG and, I don't know, Envy make it into qualification. Then they will slot in into this slot somewhere here. I think they may reverse the bracket, which will mean that LG, because they're on the lower side here, will end up coming into the upper side here. I'm not sure. I cannot guarantee that. But I don't think that LG will be playing Reciprocity because I'm pretty sure they're in the same Pro League group. So I think it would make more sense to put LG, if they do go through, to have them in the upper bracket playing against Heretics, a team that wasn't in their division. But yeah, we'll have to see how it goes. So anyway, that's the news pretty much to talk about for the last day or so. I wanted to talk through this tweet very quickly. Going to be going into more detail on this tomorrow, but team is mentally checked out after securing first. No comment on the gameplay because we aren't really playing, so screaming at all before these matches. Get me home, please. Obviously, it's unacceptable, but those matches actually really mean nothing. That's what Crimsix says after their, once again, defeat yesterday. And, well, interesting, let's put it that way. Now, we've got a couple of announcements here before we end the video from Fuego Gaming. Welcome our new Call of Duty team for UK Nationals, CWL Miami, and hopefully champs Madcat, BB Connor, Chaxter, Hawkey. So, of course, Hawkey and Madcat, you guys may know, even you should know if you're from the States and you've been following the scene for a while, you know these players. And they're going to be playing with some other guys as well. Pretty interesting. But yeah, just thought I'd let you guys know that. I'm sure some of you will be interested. This is another team as well. Gorgo Knight, Mosh, Cade Pawns, and Infamous Kev. It's going to be a team under In Control. So, very interesting turn of events. But, you know, we'll have to see how they do. I will be doing a video down the line on which amateur teams are most likely to qualify for Call of Duty World Championships from CWL Miami. And yes, here we go then, just to finish off the video with this, another situation here for Dave. And the EU guys have been shafted so much this season, it's really been horrible to watch. From the Red Reserve situation with Scrapsy, Zero, you know, Rated Joe, Bance, those guys, and going on to Denial, at least 3 of them have, then they got screwed over there as well. And now they're not even under an organisation. And then you've got Dave, who's owed money off Epsilon from last season. Epsilon started owing 18k, and in a year it was down to 10k. Lightning Pandas at the start of this season, who have now ceased operations, they owe 3,500. Can't get a reply to save your life. And, I mean, this is just a horrible situation, really. The problem is, if you try to go to court to pursue some of this money, it's possible to do, and it's a significant amount of money, so you could probably get away with it, especially if there is a contract signed that says you need to be paid this amount. But at the same time, whether you can even get the money out of these companies that have pretty much ceased operations or gone bankrupt or whatever. But Epsilon is a different story, because I'm pretty sure they still have a full-time CS roster, which would mean that surely you'd be able to get the money back. But, yeah, I thought I'd leave that on the table. So, like, if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new as always. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good rest of the weekend, and I will see you next time.
Charges acquired. We lost the bomb. Last man standing. You know what to do. This is it. Fight like you've got a pair. One tango left.